Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to another episode of Brand Marks the Spot. I'm your brand buddy, Patrick Sesko, and I'm super stoked to see you guys here. So, just checking on my sound. Always good to see that the technology is working. So, welcome once again to another episode here. It's episode 18, and so I've got a little streak going, a little over 4 months of doing these shows weekly, which is, consistency is always important. And today we're going to be talking about what are you doing to stand out, whether that's in your business, whether that's as you are as a solopreneur, or even your personal life. How are you standing out, and especially to your clients and your brand. So before we get started on that, this episode is brought to you by my free brand roadmap. And what this document is about 15 pages of all of the different stages of branding. That includes the strategy, the design, the development, and the delivery of all aspects of your brand. And then what this tool really enables you to do is audit your brand and gives you insight as to, where are the gaps in your brand? Is your strategy missing? Do you not have an ideal customer avatar? Or do you not have your brand positioning or your messaging? Or what about your brand identity and your website and all those things? So grab this roadmap at patricksesko.com/brand roadmap. You grab that for free and you can audit your own brand essentially, right? And then also, I usually don't do 2 call to actions here, but definitely grab the brand roadmap. That's no cost to you. But also in the near future, I'm going to be relaunching my Nail Your Brand Colors and Fonts workshop. And that's basically getting your brand foundations in place so you can put yourself out there more professionally and more consistently, so that way you can build trust and authority with your audience. And you can go ahead and get on the wait list at patricksesko.com/waitlist. And about the workshop, I am toying with making this a little bit more of a high touch group coaching situation, to where I take you through all of the foundational aspects of building your visual brand, your colors, your fonts, a simple text-based logo, and a social media kit that's going to put you out there more consistently with templates, a workbook template or a lead magnet template. And I want to walk you through that so you can get it done quick with no BS and get yourself out there with more consistency and create more impact in your business. So if you are interested in that, just leave a comment below this video and say I'm interested. I'm still working out all the kinks. This is going to be more than likely a beta group program that will you'll help me sort of build or tailor the program to your needs, as well as what I think you also need in your business. But anyways, check that out. Get on the wait list, and I'll be hitting you up in the very near future as I continue to develop that further. So now on with the show today. If you are joining me live, just drop in a comment, say hi, tell me where you're from. If you're watching the replay, just give me a hashtag replay and I'll come in and say hi. And also, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I will always respond. Either tag me or I should be notified automatically. And so today, what are you doing to stand out in your business? So, are you doing things like, is your personality completely different? Is your brand positioning? How are you standing out with your brand positioning? Is it the experience that you provide your customers? Is it the process that you use with your products and services? Do you have a different way of doing things or a different outlook? So what are the things that you are doing to stand out in your business? And one of the ways to do that is to really, they always say, when I say they, the gurus say, oh, keep your eyes on your own paper and just, stay in your lane. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. But an important aspect of differentiation is really, studying your competition. And, I say competition loosely, like, people who are doing similar type things in your space. And that way, when you are seeing what they're doing online, seeing how they're presenting themselves, seeing what their personality is, what kind of audience they have, you are able to look at that and look at the others in your space and look for the gaps that will enable you to present yourself differently, and it makes you more memorable. So take that into consideration. And, I wanted to tell you a little story about, standing out and differentiation and how that can, help you in your business. Now, this is a story about when I was in, a corporate stiff working in corporate America. I was a low man on the totem pole. And I remember going to a design conference, and there was a speaker there. His name was Kevin Carroll, really motivational speaker. He worked for Nike. He was like their catalyst, and he was well known. He's written some books, and just really good guy, and really inspiring speaker. And so anyways, I go to this conference, I see the keynote, I meet tons of people, have a great time. I come back to my corporate digs, which at this stage now, I think this was maybe 2002. So I was already there maybe 2 or 3 years. And, I was always in punk rock bands, and, corporate America was not my thing. I was totally not myself in corporate America. It was very difficult to, be myself without, offending people or what have you. Because, I can tend to be inappropriate sometimes. So anyways, after going to this conference, I was totally inspired. So I started looking for a job, and I was like, well, heck, this guy's at Nike. Let me go see what Nike has. And keep in mind, I'm in Maryland. Nike, it was based out of Oregon, Beaverton, I believe. And so anyways, I found that they were hiring a senior graphic designer. And I was like, well, hell, I'm going to go ahead and, apply. But I was like, I'm sure everybody on the planet who's a designer and is looking for a job would love to work for a Nike, right? So I'm like, man, how am I going to stand out? Man, there's probably a ton of designers that are better than me, and there always will be. And so I was like, I got to come up with a plan to, like, I'm not just going to send some boring resume. I'm a designer after all, right? So like, what can I do to make things different? So I brainstormed a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go. And so I came up with this idea of, I went to Gabriel Brothers, which, if you're in the mid-Atlantic area, Gabriel Brothers is like a department store for all the misfit items that were either, they have some damage, or they're oopses, or they had some errors. So you can get stuff cheap, like shirts and pants and clothing and household items. But anyways, I go there, I buy a pair of Nike sneakers for like $30. And I create this design, a poster that went with the Nike sneakers, and obviously my resume, and all of these things that went into the box. And then I created a flash animation on my website that was specifically created for the recruiter. And so I put this package in. It was brilliant. I did a photo shoot of the shoes in my backyard. And I created this poster, like I said, and just basically saying why they should hire me. And I sent them to this landing page, which was this really cool flash animation, which was, again, this was 2002. So, that's when Flash was all the rage. And anyways, I sent it to them. It was a shoe box with the shoe in it. And it was, I looked high and low for all of the stuff that I had, images and that was so long ago. I did find it, but it is actually on a zip drive, and I don't even have a way of accessing my zip drive. So I can't show it to you, but it was a shoebox where I created a custom inlays. I pasted it on the inside of the box. So when they open it, there's a shoe, and it was basically saying who I am, what I do, what I'm applying for. And, and then sort of the gist was, if the shoe fits, hire me. So, and I sent them these shoes. Right. And so that went out, and I don't know, like 4 days later, I come home from work and I check my voicemail, or, the answering machine when people still use those. And Kevin Carroll actually called me and left a message, and he was, basically saying how impressed he was with the level of, ambition and the creativity of the piece that I sent them. And They had basically put my resume, you know, to the top of the list out of hundreds. Well, maybe not hundreds, but it was well over 100 applicants. And you know, I didn't get the job, obviously, but I got the, you know, telephone interview, which went well. And it just turned out it wasn't the greatest fit. But just goes to show you that there were probably hundreds of other people who were better designers or more qualified for the job. But it was that little bit of extra oomph, that thing that I did that differentiated me from all of the other candidates, that made them remember me enough to even just call me and just say how impressed they were with what I had sent them, that it got me to, you know, I truly believe that's what got me the interview. Now, I wasn't right for the job at the time, which is fine, but that got me the interview, the telephone interview. And so these are kinds of the things that you want to think about when you're doing, you know, you're running your business. How are you putting yourself out there? How are you different to your audience? And, you know, not different in a way that is contrived, or I'm just being different just so I can be different. You want to look for the gaps and how that fits in with your own personality. You know, my differentiation is, you know, I'm just like your buddy. I'm your brand buddy. I'm a regular guy. I tell stupid jokes. You know, I have a silly sense of humor. I like punk rock music. I play guitar. You know, this is who I am. I'm not much different in real life than I am on these videos, with the exception of, you know, me probably cursing like a sailor, which, you know, I am going to save that for my personal life, right? And so anyways, that's how you can definitely differentiate yourself. And of course, you know, you got to do good work. You've got to, you know, get results with what you do. You can't just have this differentiation, but if you don't deliver on those goods, so that, you know, that should go without saying. However, sometimes, you know, it's how you present yourself and how you differentiate is what's going to get people to notice. And I read somewhere, I can't remember who said it, but it was something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, but like, you can be the best business, you can have the best product in the world, but the people who are going to succeed are the ones who do marketing better. So it's really how you position yourself, how you differentiate yourself, and how you put yourself out there. And I'm going to give you another example. And again, this is another job interview example. I don't know why I'm thinking about these job interviews, but about 1998, I live, you know, in Maryland. And so the Baltimore Orioles I'm a big fan of the Baltimore Orioles, and I lived very close to the stadium. And there was the job opening there. This was in 1998. So this was even prior to my Nike experience. And a funny fact about the whole Nike experience. After that, I was still at my corporate gig there, but after that, well, I'll come back to that. And so anyways, the Baltimore Orioles, there was a job interview, or there was a job opening there for a graphic designer. I was like, man, it'll be awesome to work for a major league team. And I'd get like tickets to the games, and I'd do this really cool work, high profile work. Hey, maybe I'll pal around with the players. And, you know, this was in the heyday of, you know, the Cal Ripken Jr., Roberto Alomar, Rafael Palmeiro, Brady Anderson, all of these guys. This was like the classic, you know, lineup with the Orioles. And so anyways, I created my resume, and I created like a little animation. So I wanted to do something to differentiate myself, because I knew there were going to be a ton of applicants, and there were over 130 applicants. And what I did was, so, you know, I did my little animation, I sent the email, or not an email, but I sent the letter, and I sent the animation. And then I did get an interview, and that, I believe, those differentiating things is what got me the interview. And in addition to the quality of my work, I'd like to think anyways, but I believe that my differentiation is really what got their attention. And they say, hey, let's see what this guy's all about. And so I go in for the interview, and I ended up interviewing. There was like 3 or 4 rounds of interviews. And so in my portfolio, because we have these old school portfolios, and I'm going to actually show these, show my work. A lot of it's old work, so it'll be interesting to see the evolution of my work. But anyways, we would have these old school portfolios, and we'd go in and show the work and talk about the work. But in the last page of my portfolio, prior to going in, I made this drawing. Let me see if I can get a better this drawing of Cal Ripken Jr. Based off of a photograph, of course, but it was hand drawn, and I put that in the last page of my portfolio, and it was kind of like a little bit of a surprise for them. They're like, oh, so not only this guy's a designer, he can illustrate as well. And, you know, so I think that just left a little bit of an impression on them. And again, I made it down to the last 2 applicants out of over 130. That's why I went on 4 different interviews, and I didn't get the job again. But, you know, it was validation because I was there. You know, I made it through out of over 130 applicants. I made it down to the final 2, and they hired this other woman who was well qualified for the job, no doubt. And it was cool. You know, it's like, all right, so I didn't get it. I was bummed. But, you know, I remember saying to myself, well, I made it through 4 rounds. I made it down to the last 2. So, again, I think that differentiation is what got me to that ending point, in addition to my work. But it's that differentiation that gets you a seat at the table. And that kind of the same concept goes for how you put yourself out there with your brand. It's that differentiation that gives you the proverbial seat at the table with your audience. So, you know, what are you doing to put yourself out there, and how are you different from anyone who's doing the same thing as you? So what are you going to be doing to stand out in your business? And, you know, think about that. Even though I just sent those little, I talked about those little anecdotes. Funny story. When I went back to my, you know, I was still at my corporate gig, back to the grind, which I, you know, I despised at this point. You know, I just wanted out. But we ended up hiring a person, another junior designer or a senior designer under the art director. And it ended up being the girl who actually got the job at the Orioles. So she ended up leaving there just, you know, a couple years later. So I was like, wait a minute, because I recognized her name, you know, because we knew of each other. And so it was just this funny thing. So we ended up hiring the girl who beat me out for the position that I wanted 2 years prior. So it was just kind of this little kismet thing. So anyways, that's what I got for you today. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. I want to help you. So anything you want to know about or learn about or ask about, just drop a comment below, tag me. And we will see you next week. You guys have an awesome week, and we'll talk soon.